The Republican Party is no stranger to internal conflict, yet the recent clash between President-elect Donald Trump and Congressman Chip Roy has sent shockwaves through the GOP. At the heart of this battle lies a familiar foe, the debt ceiling. As the deadline to avert a government shutdown looms, Trump and Roy have found themselves on opposite sides of a critical issue, exposing deep divisions within the party. This isn't just another political squabble. This is about fundamental principles and the future direction of the Republican Party. Trump, known for his no-surrender approach, has accused Roy of jeopardizing a great Republican victory for cheap publicity. Roy, a member of the fiscally conservative House Freedom Caucus, remains steadfast in his opposition to raising the debt ceiling without significant spending cuts. The stakes couldn't be higher. With a potential government shutdown looming, the GOP finds itself teetering on the edge of chaos. The outcome of this battle could have far-reaching implications for the party's unity, its ability to govern effectively, and its standing with the American people. Trump's frustration with Roy is palpable. He sees Roy's unwavering stance on the debt ceiling as an act of defiance, a direct challenge to his authority, and a threat to the Republican agenda. In Trump's view, Roy's refusal to compromise jeopardizes the party's hard-won gains and undermines its ability to deliver on its promises. Trump's response has been characteristically direct and aggressive. He hasn't just criticized Roy, he's called for his ouster. Trump has publicly urged Texas Republicans to primary Roy, framing him as an obstacle to progress and a threat to the party's unity. This call to action is a clear signal to other Republicans: fall in line or face the consequences. Trump's anger is fueled by a sense of betrayal. He sees Roy's actions as a betrayal of the party, the voters who put Republicans in power, and the very principles that he believes should unite them. In Trump's eyes, Roy's defiance is not just an act of political calculation, it's a personal affront. Chip Roy is not backing down. The Texas Congressman, known for his unwavering conservative principles, remains resolute in his opposition to raising the debt ceiling without substantial spending cuts. Roy argues that the current trajectory of government spending is unsustainable, and that failing to address the national debt would be a dereliction of duty. Roy maintains that his stance is not about personal gain or political maneuvering, it's about principle. He believes that conservatives have a moral obligation to fight for fiscal responsibility, even when it's politically unpopular. Roy argues that surrendering to the Democrats' demands without securing significant concessions on spending would be a betrayal of the trust placed in Republicans by their voters. Roy's supporters, including former Vice President Mike Pence, applaud his courage and conviction. They view him as a principled conservative who is willing to stand up for what he believes in, even in the face of intense pressure from within his own party. To them, Roy is not a roadblock but a necessary voice of reason, a reminder that the Republican Party must remain true to its core values. The clash between Trump and Roy has exposed a deep rift within the Republican Party. On one side are those who believe that compromise is necessary to govern effectively and avoid a catastrophic government shutdown. They argue that while spending cuts are important, they should not come at the cost of the nation's economic stability. On the other side are those who believe that fiscal responsibility should be the GOP's top priority, even if it means risking a shutdown. They argue that the long-term consequences of failing to address the national debt far outweigh the short-term pain of a shutdown. This faction sees Roy as a hero, a courageous defender of conservative principles. The looming government shutdown only intensifies the pressure on both sides. The outcome of this standoff could have profound implications for the Republican Party's future. A shutdown would likely be deeply unpopular with the American people, potentially harming the GOP's chances in the 2026 midterm elections. However, caving to the Democrats' demands without securing significant concessions on spending could alienate the Republican base, leading to further internal division and potentially hurting the party's chances in the 2028 presidential election. As the clock ticks down, the Republican Party finds itself at a crossroads. The decisions made in the coming days will have far-reaching consequences, not just for the party itself, but for the nation as a whole.